Hey everybody, welcome back. It is time once again for Coffee Talk Live, podcasting Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube on Coffee Talk and Prepper University at Coffee Talk Live and at Coffee Talk. No, at Coffee Talk Live and at Prepper University. I almost got ahead of myself. You can find me on X at Coffee Talk Chat. You can find me on fistfulofradio.com, podcasting out of Atlanta. No music today because Restream's music app is glitched out. It will not function. So no opening music today. That's fine. No cats either. There are no felines in the room at the moment, at least not any that I can see, as we get ready to jump off here. Naturally, I do read through as many of the comments as is reasonable for the benefit of those of you who are listening and not able to see. And I'll say hello to some of the people that have chimed in thus far. The Helter is here today, as well as Johnny, Dragon, Brian, Cyberjack Sr., Country Living, Legends is here, JJ is here, Kimberly is here. As we get ready to jump off into the news, I got some more mail to share. You'll get a kick out of this. Jane is here. Glad you all could make it today. But yeah, I've got another piece of mail that's interesting because all that campaign mail. I wonder how long after the election we'll still get this mail. I wish to never receive another piece of political rhetoric or propaganda in the mail ever again. I could do absolutely without it. Absolutely without it. As we get ready to jump off into the news and see what's going on in the world here today. Here's your top story. Not that anybody will do anything about it. This one they've been pounding the hell out of. And of course it is everybody's favorite uncle. No, it is Uncle Joe, but the wrong Uncle Joe. They used to call Joseph Stalin Uncle Joe. What are you doing? I have a visitor. Hi. Come here. Monkey Cat, everybody. How are you doing, my friend? Monkey Cat has decided to join us. Joseph Stalin, they used to call him Uncle Joe, but we have our own version of Uncle Joe, and that is, of course, Joe Biden. He's our Uncle Joe. He wants to be your uncle. He wants to bounce you on his knee and smell your hair. Fox News article, White House altered Biden's, quote, garbage transcript despite concerns from stenographers. It says the White House altered the transcript of President Biden's controversial garbage comment despite the concerns of stenographers. In an email viewed by Fox News Digital, a supervisor sounded the alarm on the White House press office's breach of protocol and spoliation of transcript integrity between the stenography and press offices. Quote, if there is a difference in interpretation, the press office may choose to withhold the transcript but cannot edit it independently, the supervisor wrote in the email. Our stenography office transcript released to our distro, which includes the National Archives, is now different than the version edited and released to the public by press office staff. Director of White House Stenography Amy Sands also reprimanded the White House press office after the debacle, writing in an email after last night's process, and this is a quote, our team would like to reiterate that rush drafts, excerpts the stenography office sends to assist the press office are not intended for public distribution or as the final version of transcript. Please avoid sharing rush drafts, excerpts, which are subject to review and might create confusion among staff, media, and the public while our stenography office completes, a thorough review process. So basically, the White House has taken it upon themselves to alter the transcripts so that they no longer say what he said. They've changed it. They've 1984'd it. Ministry of Truth type propaganda here, like what you saw in Orwell's 1984. I work for the Ministry of Truth. I alter the facts. They altered the facts and got caught. They changed it so that the official transcript now will not have that he said that Trump supporters are garbage. But they blew the whistle on it. They blew the whistle on it. So now what? So now what? And Kimberly made a donation to the channel. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you very much for that. You did that because you saw Monkey acting weird. If that's the case, we need to keep Monkey here all the time. I should let him sit on my head. Can you see him rocking back and forth? I did. You see him rocking back and forth as he's trying to get under my chin here? Crazy cat. But thank you again, Kimberly. Much appreciated. It goes a long way towards helping all these shelter cats. Dragon says, too bad for them. The internet has it archived. That's true. But I mean, what's going to be done about it? Okay, yeah, the internet knows the truth and everybody knows the truth. People know what he said. And if you're looking at the video, you can clearly see. Here you go. You can clearly see he was reading. That was scripted. He was reading and it blew up in their face. You can't pretend that he went off script because you can see his eyes moving and you can see he's reading. And now you can't pretend he didn't say it because we all know he did. We all know he did. Helter says every time a Democrat lies, they use the misspoke excuse. Just ask Waltz. He's been misspeaking for over 20 years, longer than that. Kimberly says the internet is forever silly minions. Jane says the web is manipulated so much it's fake news all over. And Monkey is here. Monkey 99, not Monkey Cat. Monkey Cat was already here. Country says they can't say that he didn't say it. The video is all over the net. A little too late. They're going to try, though, because, 50 years from now, if somebody reads that archive, they won't know. Jane says, yeah, monkey on your head. He likes your beard for sure. I don't know what the deal is with him and that. And Tuck's here. He says, remember, like, share, and subscribe both channels. Please do. Very much appreciated. Jane says, DJT or 45 says it adds to his fake news definition. And that is fake news. That is fake news. Watch out, kitty. Where are you going? Well, you don't make this easy, buddy. And Chillin' Dave has joined us. Maybe I should have called him Squirrel. Maybe I should have called him Squirrel instead. But yeah, now they're openly trying to alter this. They've been caught up in it. But what's going to be done about it? What's it going to change? What's it going to change? It's like I said before. People keep telling me the sheep are waking up, and it's like, yeah, okay, the sheep are waking up, but they're still sheep. What are they going to do? They're not going to do anything. They're still sheep, whether they're aware of what's going on or not. Right, Monkey? You know what's funny, too? You can't see it, but he's actually standing on the desk like 18 inches back. And he reaches out and stretches all out like this. And with his toes on the edge of the desk so that he can reach me and do that. Anyways, capitalizing on that naturally. And I'm sure everybody has seen this before. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. And this is USA Today coming up on this article. Anytime. Here we go. Trump milks Biden's garbage gaffe in an insult-laden stump speech in Wisconsin. And here you see the video of him getting into the garbage truck, climbing up into the garbage truck. And he gives a speech from the truck. And you saw there, because I'm going to talk about this a little bit in a moment. He gets off the plane. He walks across the tarmac. It is raining. The tarmac is soaking wet. Okay. Walks up to the truck. And he grabs the handle, and the handle slips from his hand. See? But then he steps up into the truck, unassisted, and does his speech. Now, I haven't read the article yet. He has been relentlessly mocked for the handle slipping out of his hand when he reached for it, because he wasn't looking and it slipped, and then he fingered for it again and then pulled the door open. You can see it in the clip. Just wasn't paying attention, basically. Relentlessly mocked, especially by Tim Waltz or Walls or whatever the hell you pronounce his name. Oh, he's so inept he can't even open up the handle for the truck. Picking on him for that little faux pas. Tampon Tim, who can't load a shotgun. Big time outdoorsman and hunter. Soldier. Professional soldier. Who weapons of war. Who can't load a damn shotgun. Looks like a moron. Looks like he never held a shotgun in his life. Holding it with the breech facing down, trying to shove the shells up into it, and can't figure out why they won't go in. Blames the gun. You saw the video. Oh man. JJ says maybe the sheep will bleat more bitterly. Pretty much. Monkey says the fact that back in 2020 Biden said if you don't vote for me you ain't black, and yet nothing bad happened. It's good to call out the BS, but in the end, what's going to be done? Yeah, I find myself saying that a lot. Go, what the hell are you going to do? Who's going to actually step up and do anything about it? Where's the guy who shakes his fist and yells out the window and says, I've had enough and I'm not going to take it anymore? Jane says, Monkey the kitty likes your beard. Do you spray it with mint or catnip? No, I don't put anything in my beard. I don't know. I don't know what it reminds him of or what he thinks of when he does that. But I don't put anything in my beard. I don't oil it or anything like other people. And Tuck says, meanwhile, ice cream grandpa falls upstairs. Exactly. Kimberly says, mocked by the guy who doesn't know how to load a shotgun. There you go. That's what I was saying. But here we go with the article, if it'll move. It says, how do you like my garbage truck? Trump asked a group of reporters. This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden. That's perfect. That is perfect. The Harris campaign mocked the stunt, with Director of Rapid Response Amar Musa likening the moment to 1988 Democratic presidential candidate Michael Dukakis' failed photo op in a military tank at a Detroit campaign stop. I don't remember that. I don't think anybody remembers that. Now you get everybody who heard that comment was probably had to go and look it up. Still continuing to sport the bright vest while on stage, Trump kicked off his evening remarks by talking about Biden's comments. They treat our whole campaign like garbage, Trump said of the president and Harris, and he complained of Democrats calling him a, quote, Nazi and a fascist, which they have done. And his former chief of staff, John Kelly, said in an interview that Trump had previously made positive comments about Hitler. I don't believe that either. Without question, my supporters are of far higher quality than Biden and Harris, he said at the opening of his Green Bay event. Smart. He said supporters are of higher quality than Biden and Harris. He did not target Democrats in the statement. That's good wording. Good wording. But yeah, he's been relentlessly mocked. They've attempted it in the media. And they also, like I said, and I'll run that bit back again here where he tries to grab the handle in case you missed it. When Biden has tripped and fallen and stumbled all over the place, and then Waltz again, who can't load a shotgun, here it comes. He ain't looking. You see his head. Now he turns his head, grabs the handle. But he gets into the truck unassisted, holding onto the bar. And there you go. As we catch up here, or try to catch up. Let me close the USA Today article. It's making Restream act. Monkey says, the shotgun is the basic weaponry. If you can't load it properly, then how did he even use the other military weapons if he used it outside of boot camp? I mean, he may not have had a shotgun in the military. Maybe he never handled a shotgun in the military. I don't know. but it's pretty basic. It's pretty simple. I mean, you can look at it and figure it out. You in the chair? Where'd you go? Well, Monkey left the room. Monkey left the room. I guess he wasn't getting enough attention. Dragon says, Kamal, at the very end, let me be clear. I come from a middle-class family. Hey, I am talking now. Everyone has a voice, but I am talking now. Tuck says, Waltz didn't even have the foresight to ask one of his security team to spend 2 minutes showing him how to load the shotgun. Definitely not VP material, not even mall security material. Yeah, exactly. There were plenty of people. Before they started rolling, he could have even faked it off. I'm not familiar with this model. Can you break it down for me really quick? 60 seconds or less, somebody could show you the basics. Safety on and off. Here's your breech. Here's this. Here's that. Make sure you keep it pointed down, which he didn't do either. He was holding it pointed up the whole freaking time. And then when he's loading it, instead of barring it under his arm with the breech facing up, he puts the stock up against his crotch, in between his legs, right against his crotch, with the breech facing down, and fumbles trying to get shells in. I don't understand what the problem is. It's just, I don't know. Something wrong with it. It's always me. He's like the drill sergeant from the Three Stooges. Everything always happens to me. Jericho says, I've done that before, missing door handles. That's normal for everyone who isn't paying attention. Yeah, I'm sure I've done it. Or you reach for something and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Or the light switch. How many times you reach for the light switch and it's like, oh, no, wait a minute. Because you weren't looking. People do that. Kimberly says, are you hearing widespread reports of people at the polls refusing to accept any form of ID to vote? I haven't heard that yet. And Semper is here, Semper Fi. He says, hello from the left-appointed garbage grifting MAGA. Wow. Nature Nerd says, even Democrats were saying if Kamala has a wealth tax or capital gains, they will fight to keep Kamala out of office. And JJ, maybe someone did show him how to use it, which would be worse, showing his lack of comprehension. Wow. That's right. That's right. The mail. Because my wife got another piece of political mail. It's this is it right here. And it plays itself off as being nonpartisan mail. Okay? And it's from the Center for Voter Information, and it claims to be nonpartisan. And it says, the Center for Voter Information provides important election information to voters like you across the country. We asked voters in your state what they wanted to know about the candidates for President of the United States before they vote on Tuesday, November 5th. The candidates are Democrat Kamala Harris and Republican Donald Trump. Okay, sounds nonpartisan. And then they ask, these are the 3 questions that apparently people in Georgia are asking, and I don't believe this. It says, supporting small business programs. Harris, yes. Trump, no. Defending America from cyber terrorism. Kamala Harris, yes. Donald Trump, no. Keeping manufacturing jobs in America. Kamala, yes. And Trump, no. I don't think anybody at the polls necessarily asked these 3 questions. Maybe the one about manufacturing. Maybe. This is obviously Democrat propaganda. Okay. And then the citations they give is for Donald Trump, Spectrum News. Spectrum News is the bibliography. And they don't even cite the whole thing. They just say no. It just says no. It goes on to say, which, by the way, keeping manufacturing jobs in America. Oh, Trump doesn't want that. Are you serious? Are you serious? He busted his eggs trying to fix that when he was in office, and I'm sure he'll do it again. Defending America from cyber terrorism. Who doesn't want that? Oh, Trump, I don't know. I don't think we should defend America from cyber terrorism. Yeah, okay. It goes on to say, I mean, these aren't even the truth. And then they cite some bullshit like Spectrum News. And then the citations are from like as old as 2021. But then it says a candidate's position, goes on to say, is sometimes more complicated than a yes or no. We have done our best to represent each candidate in a fair and reasonable way. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you want additional detailed information on these issues, you can visit the candidates' websites. We hope this information is useful. Yeah, it's very useful for me because now I get to make fun of how pathetic you are on the podcast. Oh my God. Let me catch up here. Nature Nerd says if these stupid people vote for Kamala and she adds capital gains and wealth tax, everyone's 401k and retirement is screwed. Your 401k isn't safe anyways. Remember what happened to it after the housing market crash? Most people lost their 401ks then. I don't pay into 401ks. It's one of the biggest scams going. It really is. Without getting too much into that. Nature Nerd says people would have to sell properties for no good reason other than taxes. Monkey says definitely not biased at all. And Kimberly says all that is BS. Trump would be a yes for all. Yeah. He never said he wouldn't do any of this. Of course they're going to have cybersecurity. Of course that's important. Of course he wants to keep manufacturing in America. That's been one of his biggest issues the whole time. He wants America to be independent, which is also why he wanted to open up oil again, and is supporting small business programs. Oh yeah, I'm sure Trump is like, no, we need to screw those small businesses. Yeah, screw them. In case you were curious about, Kamala's backers. Let me open this up. I got to make sure this video is not going to play. Try to stop it there so that it doesn't interfere with Restream too much. Anytime, Restream. Is it going to work? It's being sluggish today. Sorry about that. Fox News article, Harris slammed for hiring advisor with ties to dark money group pushing a gas stove ban. Energy advocates are knocking Vice President Kamala Harris for bringing on a top campaign advisor with ties to a controversial environmental group behind the effort to ban gas stoves. O.H. Skinner, executive director of the nonprofit Alliance for Consumers, told Fox News Digital that this is sadly par for the course. Quote, for years, the left has been focused on assaulting consumers and the things in their homes. That has included a litany of Biden-Harris regulations and mandates, from green regulations on dishwashers and washing machines to EV mandates and bans on gas stoves. A Harris-Walz administration will no doubt continue to eviscerate consumer choices and force Americans to pay more for everyday products and household appliances that do a worse job. And they do. That green energy stuff doesn't work well. American energy production is a critical issue in the election, especially in the largest swing state, Pennsylvania. The Harris campaign has made overtures to energy producers and consumers, saying that her administration would not ban fracking, even though she's already said multiple times that she supports a ban on fracking. Now she changed her mind suddenly. But would reduce energy production costs while investing in clean energy solutions. Translation, wasting tax dollars. However, conservatives are knocking her for hiring Camilla Thorndike, who previously worked for the dark money climate activist group Rewiring America, as the campaign's climate engagement director. That sounds like a bullshit red tape job. Before joining the campaign in September, Updike worked in multiple positions at Rewiring America, between late 2022 and last month, according to Legistorm Profile. And that's her right there. That's Camilla Thorndike in the picture. Hired really probably to keep an eye on Harris. Rewiring America is an environmental advocacy group that made headlines for its push to ban gas stoves. The group does not file federal tax forms since it is sponsored by the Windward Fund, a nonprofit that is part of the billion-dollar dark money network managed by the Washington, D.C.-based Arabella Advisors. Now, who do you think the Arabella Advisors are? See if anybody's paying attention. See if anybody's paying attention. And I'll just jump to the chase here and let you know it's a Rockefeller Foundation thing. And there she is being smug. And Thomas is here. Glad you could make it today. Dragon says basically they want people to rely solely on electricity from appliances to tools to vehicles so they can be easier to control. It'd be easier to shut off too. Helter says I've tried converting to an electric stove, but I find them to be a hassle. The thing is, a gas stove allows me to cut the heat off completely without moving a pot to a different burner. I think it's easier to control the temperature too, because instead of like fumbling with settings, you just turn the gas up and down. When you get a good understanding of how what you're cooking reacts to the exposure to the heat, you know how much to put in. You can eyeball it. But that's a skill. That's a skill. And that's what these people want. And yeah, dark money, because it's a charity organization that gets money from a charity organization that gets money from a charity organization that gets money from, in this case, the Rockefeller Foundation. Yeah, changing hands here, there, and everywhere. And Raccoon has joined us. Raccoon is with us today. And I'll put this up again. This is the GoFundMe for the cats. I'll throw that up there again for the people that asked. And I will be putting an update on that since I do have all of them back now. Although Wolf still hasn't been serviced. Wolf has evaded capture. They're not ready to receive him yet anyways. Kimberly says gas stoves cook better. And JJ says, I sometimes wonder if progressive lefty is synonymous with smug. Yeah, because they think they're so smart and they think they know what they're doing and they think that they are on the right side of history. And they know they're full of shit and they think they got you fooled. Plus, everybody pats them on the back like they're so great. Oh, this is so great and you're so progressive and wonderful. You're so stunning and brave. Tuck says gas ranges are superior except in conditions where one cannot get regular fuel refills, such as remote locations. Monkey, you're here. Hi, you came back. Monkey is back, everybody. You coming up here to say hello? How you doing, my friend? I still hate what they did to your ear. I have a big problem with that, with the whole like ear tipping. I just can't get my mind around it. I wish there was a better way to mark the cats. He's going to try to jump in my face again as we get ready to pull up the next article. And this is someone else, another politician. Man, I am sick to death of seeing this person. Sick to death. Another person I wish would just fade away into the annals of history. At an impasse, says make you switch to an electric stove, then the power goes out and they say boil water. I know. And then nobody knows how to start a fire. They can't even start a fire with a damn lighter. some of these younger people, these nitwits that we have coming up now. Fox News article. Yeah, we're going to talk about Stacey Abrams. Man, I'm tired of her. Stacey Abrams claims voter suppression in Georgia. She has been crying she's been crying wolf with voter suppression in Georgia her entire career. It is pathetic. And it's a scam. It's a money laundering scam, I swear. Both times that she's run for governor, she has sued the state of Georgia, claiming voter suppression. She has denied the election both times, that there's no way she could have lost. I don't see anybody taking her to court. Monkey, good Lord. Yeah, I like you too, buddy. Oh, no. Monkey, you're too much, buddy. You're too much. Yeah, we're going to have to keep you. And she has mired the courts with all sorts of frivolous lawsuits and spent her campaign money paying her partner, who is her campaign manager, to do it. And every case has been thrown out of court. Every one. Every one. Because she has never been able to produce a single person for years who will claim in open court that they were denied being able to vote. Getting into the article, former Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams is claiming that voter suppression is occurring in Georgia despite record turnouts in the Peach State. During Friday's installment of CNN News Central, co-anchor Kate Bouldan, if I pronounced that correctly, asked Abrams what she believes is driving the surge in early voting. Quote, "While we're excited about who is showing up, we have to understand that turnout does not mean there is not voter suppression activity." She suggested that one of the reasons for long early voting lines is because residents can no longer use the easier method of voting by mail. You fraud. You piece of shit. I can't stand this woman. She's another puppet. She's a huge shill. And she went from zero to millions. You look at her net worth. Look up her net worth from like 2018 and look at it now. It'll make you sick. Tuck says, the outer ear gathers and focuses sound. While I understand the utility of tipping ferals, it does affect their hearing. I can see that. Honey, stay out of my teacup, please. And Nature Nerd says, Prepper Princess said if America has a wealth tax, she would move to Mexico since most of her wealth is in a 401k. Oh, my. Yeah, that's a bad, 401ks, they're a scam. And people should have learned that when they had their 401ks seized during the housing crisis, because they lost their money. A lot of people lost their money, and it will never come back. They will never, ever get it back. I cannot believe she is still claiming that there's voter suppression. She has the nerve to still claim that there's voter suppression. Now here we go. This is what I want to show you. I'm gonna prove what I just said. Helter says there's no voter suppression. Stacey's mad that she lost a fair election and refuses to step down. Yeah, well, she was never governor. I want to pull this up. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Dragon says she can't accept the fact that she lost, and neither can Oprah, who thought she was a kingmaker. Brian, there he goes. He says liberals. I know it. Now here is Stacey Abrams' net worth, 2018. Okay, this is before she ran for governor the first time. $109,000. That's her net worth. You see that? Everybody's looking at this. $109,000 is Stacey Abrams' net worth 2018. Right? Now, let's jump ahead. The next recording of her net worth is 2023. Or let me see, 2024. I think there might be something for, that's not right. That's the wrong Abrams. Nice try. I know what I'm writing. 2024 net worth. What does that say? 3.17 million in available assets. That's not even counting her homes. Think about that. JJ says, I doubt moving overseas will stop aggressive taxation by feds. You can thank Obama for the laws that go after expatriates. Correct. Kimberly says, I yanked my 401k out working on buying silver coins and collectible coins now. That's interesting. Silver stacking. Nothing wrong with that. Tuck says, I don't get people still seeing 401ks as a great idea after what happened. I lost my savings to a banking hack. While I have bank accounts, I would never store a lot of money in them again. Wow, Tuck, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, you know, companies push it on you. They push it on you and they encourage it because they get an incentive. The companies get an incentive. And by the way, if you leave a company before a set date, anything they've paid into your 401k, they can retract. Did you know that? They can take it back. You won't get that money. You won't get that money. The other thing that's interesting, and I think I've talked about this before, my wife at her current job, they automatically enroll you in the 401k program, and she had to jump through major hoops to get removed from that program. It took her about a month, and she had to do it in person. She was like, I don't want to pay into the 401k program. I don't want anything to do with it. And she really had to jump through hoops to get out of it. And it's not even a union job. It's not a union job. But it's mandatory. Unless otherwise specified, you have to opt out of the program, but you're automatically put in. And I wonder how many other companies are doing that. Monkey says 100,000 to 3.17 million. Jesus. Yeah, and like I said, it's not even showing her properties. Kimberly says Stacey has the insider trading tips. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. How did that happen? The woman has no job. All she's done for the last 6 years is run for governor and lose. She has no real work experience. She hasn't done anything. I mean, she functions as an activist. Maybe they're paying her, money laundering through public speeches, because these people get paid for public speeches and stuff. Oh, I love this. It says Stacey Abrams is a political leader, a politician, and an activist writer who is a leader in the Democratic Party and the voting rights movement. Wow. Oh, wow. Also, for the record, she owns 2 homes in Georgia with a combined net worth of $1.4 million. 2 $1.4 million homes on top of the $3.17 million that you just saw. I'm in the wrong line of work. I keep telling you. Plasma Burn says buying silver and gold since 2008 can't go wrong. Trading fake money for real money. I feel you, Plasma Burns. We have some silver. We don't have a lot, but we do have some silver. And I nothing, like I said, nothing wrong with silver stacking, or gold stacking if you could do it. JJ says she probably got rich the same way Bernie did, siphoning off campaign contributions, which is where the lawsuits come in. As I pointed out, her campaign manager, who was paid to orchestrate those lawsuits out of Stacey's campaign funds is also her legal partner. So in essence, she paid herself for those frivolous lawsuits. Worked out really well for her. How come nobody's investigating that? Monkey said, sign me up so I can make $1 million or $2 million and pay all my debts. No shit. Puck says, typical Democrat operative. And Brian says, oh my gosh, she is such an inspiration. I am sure that is pure sarcasm. I'm sure that is pure sarcasm. You can't trust anybody. You can't trust anybody. You know, the more honest you are, the more all of this hurts. Speaking of dishonesty, how about fraudulent charity? Fraudulent charity coming right up, ladies and gentlemen. News Nation article. St. Pete's nonprofit is missing $100 million. And it's been shut down permanently amid FBI investigations. Kimberly says, always check your quarters and dimes for the S mint mark or 64 and earlier. They're 90% silver. Good tip there, Kimberly. St. Petersburg, Florida. An investigation by News Nation affiliate WLFA found millions of dollars went missing from a St. Petersburg trust fund meant to help disabled people. Families gave the center money from large settlements to hold in trust for their loved ones and provide for their future care, but the money is missing, and the victims are left wondering what's next. A judge overseeing the case has asked for a plan to shut down the Center for Special Needs Trust Administration and appointed a new nonprofit to manage the center's remaining days and funds. Oh, yeah, okay. For the families who put their trust in the center, there is still just one question: where is our money? You're not going to get it. And putting another center in charge of the original charity center isn't going to recover the money that's missing, and it isn't going to help the disabled people who invested it in the first place. They're not going to get the money back, and they're going to be left out in the cold. Back in February, the Center for Special Needs Trust Administration filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy after it was discovered that $100 million of its funds were loaned to the center's founder, Leo Govini, and his business, a Boston finance group, between 2009 and 2020. Wow, so he got away with that for 11 years. The center said Govoni, excuse me. It's Govoni. I pronounced it wrong. Leo Govoni has not paid that money back. They shouldn't be lending money. They shouldn't be lending money. They're a trust. The nonprofit manages special needs trusts for over 2,000 people who suffer from disabilities, ensuring they could still receive government assistance benefits, including Medicaid and Social Security. Oh, wow. $100 million. Do they know where this guy is? Court records show that at least 75% of the trusts were either partially or fully drained. Oh my God. Judge Roberta Colton appointed Chapter 11 trustee Michael Goldberg to oversee the center and find the missing money. Earlier this month, Goldberg filed a motion to approve the wind down and permanent closure of the center by December 31st. Translation, they can't find it. Judge Colton is expected to approve the motion Tuesday. When that happens, the remaining funds in pooled trusts will be transferred and managed by another trust administration, which has been named as CPT Institute Incorporated, which is Florida-based nonprofit selected after Goldberg's team. It does not say here what happened to Leo. They don't know where Leo is. Leo is sunning himself on a sandy beach with $100 million in the bank. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Puck says fraudulent charities like United Way or Red Cross. Yeah, there you go. And don't get me started on the Red Cross, please. Dragon says there was a time when the FBI would come in and audit the records of stuff like this. Sadly, those days are long gone. No, they're too busy covering up for Biden's laptop. Helter says these types of organizations are mostly scams. You never see the people helped, and the administrators live in luxury. Fluke Man says people keeping rare coins in safety deposit boxes. FBI raided them, stolen everything, and wouldn't return them. Claims keeping them safe took them to court. The FBI was told to return them, but not all of them, and they've sued. Yeah, that was in California, right? And they raided safety deposit boxes. They were supposed to go after like 6 or 7 specific boxes, but they opened everybody's and confiscated everything in the bank, right? I think we read that story like last year. Jericho says, if it's one thing I learned about in recent weeks, the system cannot be used to fix the system. No. Tuck says in 2020, 62.3% of St. Petersburg voted for Biden. Surprise. There you go. Yeah, this is sad. This is sad. Anyway, I pick on the Red Cross because, you know, they flout themselves as a charity. They're really not. When I was in the fire when I was a kid and our apartment building burned down, the Red Cross wouldn't even get out of the truck. They were there, but they refused to get out of the truck, so they were useless. That was my first experience with them. They take blood donations and they throw the shit away. Half of it they siphon the plasma out of and sell, and the other half they throw out. And my wife, of course, you know, she was deployed in Iraq and Afghanistan, and she was medical corps. She was a paratrooper and an emergency field medic. And the Red Cross used to deliver cases of blood all the time. They used to put that shit in the fire pit. Nobody wanted that blood. The only time that blood would get used is if they had to work on the enemy. If they had some enemy combatant, you know, an Afghanian terrorist, whoever, that needed surgery. Oh, yeah, then they'd use the Red Cross blood, but otherwise they wouldn't touch it. If somebody who was a soldier needed blood, they just put out the call, hey, we got somebody going OR, we need O negative, anybody want to volunteer? They'd line up around the block for it. But they never touch that blood. That blood gets thrown in the trash. JJ says, I'll get you started on the Red Cross. I have no respect for charitable organizations where upper management are all millionaires. That too. It's just like Goodwill charities. Those guys are making bank. Lucky says the Salvation Army is a scam too. Oh my God. While we're speaking of fraud, I may as well run you back to the Biden-Harris administration because I got one on them too. Your tax money at work, folks. Your tax money at work. Another Fox News article, this one. Here we go. Biden-Harris administration failed to recoup $200 billion in fraudulent C virus loans, according to the House committee. A new report from the House of Representatives accusing the Biden administration of failing to recover $200 billion in fraudulent C virus pandemic loans. And you know what I mean by C virus. I can't say it because ScrewTube will put another nail in my coffin if I do. The House Small Business Committee, led by Chairman Roger Williams, has been conducting a years-long investigation into how the Small Business Administration has handled the emergency financial aid programs that sprung up when state governments shut down businesses across the country during the pandemic. In creating the C virus lending programs, Congress understood that the relief funds needed to be issued quickly to help businesses cope with the economic strain of the pandemic. The rush to get the pandemic relief funding out quickly resulted in shortcuts being taken to deliver aid quickly to small businesses in hopes of recouping improper disbursements on the back end. The report also accused the SBA of making numerous decisions that decreased the likelihood that the government would be able to recoup any money given under false pretenses. In total, it is likely that as much as $200 billion from that lending programs fund was dispersed to fraudulent recipients. Out of the roughly $5.5 trillion Congress approved for aid during the pandemic, roughly $1.2 trillion went to the SBA, largely dispersed by two major pieces of legislation, the CARES Act, signed by Trump, and the American Rescue Plan, signed by Biden. Basically, of the $1.2 trillion, at least $200 billion of that was fraudulently collected, and the government missed it somehow. They didn't catch it, and the money's gone, and they don't know where it is or how to get it back. Puck says Clinton Crime Family Foundation, what are they up to these days? Well, I mean, after they stole all the tsunami relief or earthquake relief or whatever the hell it was from Haiti, they didn't need to do much else. I mean, that was $5 billion that went missing. Billion with a B, $5 billion in donations. And that's public donation relief, not government donations. Public donation relief, $5 billion. Haiti's been screaming about it the whole time. Where the hell's our money? They would have been corrupt with it anyways, but at least it would have been in Haiti. Lucky says that's a lot of ice cream. I know, huh? It's a lot. Old Joe. Thank you, Old Joe. Thanks for that. $2 billion of our taxpayer money. It's bad enough that of the $5.5 trillion, like 90% of the relief money went either overseas or to bullshit programs. You know, a very small amount of that was actually those stimulus checks. Very little of that money stayed in the U.S. I remember reading the articles about it, people crying about it. Like, why are we funding LGBTQ programs in, like, Pakistan with this money? What's that got to do with the C virus relief? Nothing. Nothing. Raccoon says they also stole money from donations to pay for Chelsea's wedding. You know what I thought was funny? Chelsea, that ugly girl. She, oh my God. She's not a handsome girl. She's not a pretty girl at all. But that trying to shoehorn her into jobs to make her look credible, trying to use their influence to get her jobs. Lucky says Ben and Jerry's. Yeah, don't eat Ben and Jerry's. They're way too liberal. Puck says Hillary's State Department lost track of $4 billion. It went to ISIS. Who's kidding who? Yeah. Oh, they knew where it was going. They knew where it was going. And Raccoon thinks that's funny. She was pretty homely, says Raccoon. No, she's not a handsome woman, as they say. She was not a comely young lady. Not by a long shot. She's pretty awful. Pretty awful looking girl. But and pretty inexperienced. Didn't they? They tried to make her like a journalist or something, didn't they? Wasn't she on like CNN or something? I forget. And nobody was buying it. JJ says Chelsea looks so bad because Janet Reno was her real father. Oh no. Plasma says, I noticed how none of the agencies needed to enforce the C mandates on the public were affected by the C virus. It avoided them. I know. Isn't that convenient? Isn't that convenient? How that all worked out? And I'll give you another one here about the Biden administration real quick. Because there's a big accusation from a watchdog group. Are you sitting on the edge of your seat? Because Lord knows nothing will be done about it. Another Fox News article. New watchdog report shatters Biden-Harris narrative about ethics and transparency as just myth. A new report from a government watchdog organization blasting the Biden-Harris administration claims it is the most ethical and transparent administration in history, referring to it as a myth. They call it a myth. Quote, from the onset, the Biden-Harris administration promised to bring transparency and truth back to government, per then White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki. The 26-page report from Protect the Public's Trust states, Psaki also claimed that President Biden is committed to ensuring we have the most ethically vigorous administration in history. However, the administration and its executive branch agencies have often failed to live up to these high ideals, and the myth of a scandal-free administration is just that, myth. The report outlines alleged ethics violations throughout the Biden administration from the White House, HHS, Department of Interior, Department of Energy, EPA, Department of Commerce, State Department, and other various complaints. In the Biden White House, the report outlines alleged ethics issues with the Office of White House Counsel and the White House and National Archives and Records Administration, including allegations that Biden's White House lawyers are acting as his personal attorneys amid the investigation into the mishandling of classified documents. The report also suggests that White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre has violated the Hatch Act, along with White House Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates, and raises concerns about former Press Secretary Psaki's, quote, apparent conflict of interest while looking to leave federal service for a high-salary television job. In the portion of the report that discusses President Biden's HHS, the report says no agency has lost so much credibility during the Biden-Harris administration as HHS, as it took the reins, I read that wrong. Amid the C virus pandemic, the Biden-Harris HHS disregarded ethical and scientific integrity principles as it issued far-reaching recommendations governing nearly every aspect of American lives, the report states. Yeah, we all know this. PPT exposed a number of potential violations and filed several complaints against appointees in the department and its component agencies to help preserve what little remains of the public trust. If you still trust the government after what we've been through in the last 4 years, I wish you luck. I wish you luck. Brian says that's because CNN is fake news. Now it's the clown news network. Puck says Chelsea was millions to do essentially nothing, or paid millions to do nothing, money laundering. I wish I could get a job like that. That's like Shirley on What's Happening. They hired Shirley as a diversity hire to meet a quota on the show, and she sat at a desk with nothing to do because they didn't even need an employee. And she quit the job because she thought that was unethical. Good for you, Shirley. Standing on your laurels. Tuck says, I've never had Ben & Jerry's. I've been boycotting the company since 97. JJ said the Clintons could show the cartels a thing or two about money laundering. No kidding. And disappearing people. The narrative about being transparent is just a myth. Just a myth. And yeah, they've got all these ethical complaints, and there's all these lawsuits going, and there's all this evidence. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Monkey, what are you doing? Monkey is back here wrestling with his tail. You can't see him. I can see him. Brian says, oh, that's the acronym. It makes sense. And Puck says Chelsea has a net worth of $30 million. That's it? Come on, it's got to be more than that. There's got to be more than that with all that nepotism. Paying her to do nothing. Come here, buddy. Come here. I'm not trying to wrestle with you. I'm trying to show you the people. One last time, if you'll hold still long enough for you to see his little face. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to struggle. Okay, monkey, that's all right. I love you anyway. And one more here. Kimberly says, true journalism is a lost art. I agree. Peter Ducey is the only one I see asking hard questions in the White House press conferences. Yeah, they're reporters. Reporters. They're actors. They read a script, but they are not. They are not journalists. As we get ready to wrap up, we are at the top of the hour. Again, you are listening to and or watching Coffee Talk, and you can find the live portion Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, on Coffee Talk and Prepper University, as long as I can stand it, as long as they, with the way I put a video up earlier today, because they're hammering the crap out of me. You can find me on X at Coffee Talk Chat. You can find me on fistfulofradio.com, podcasting out of Atlanta. Special thanks to Kimberly, who made a donation to the channel today. Very much appreciated. Need all the help we can get. Also, thanks to the people who have helped out on the GoFundMe so far. And of course, that's New York Patriot, Emma, Rodney, John, and CR, and Ricky, who have helped out so far. Kimberly says that Monkey's going to pull a Granny Smith if I try to get him adopted. Yeah, I bet he's going to squirm and wiggle and fight. It's all right. I hate adopting any of them. I wish I could keep them all. It's not always sustainable, though. It really isn't. There's only so many I can manage. But with that, we are at the end of the hour. Thank you, everyone else who was able to join us here today. Hope you all got something out of it.